This podcast may contain discussions of graphic violence, unsettling themes, supernatural phenomena, and other topics that some listeners may find disturbing or triggering. Listener discretion is advised. This podcast is intended for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed are simply those of the individual hosts and do not represent the profession of psychology or constitute professional advice.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back. We are in our summer season of the Secret Passage podcast. We're so happy to be back. We did run into a little technical difficulty. We were all geared up to do video, and our newest episode, however, our system was down. So please, gang, forgive us. We will be back next week with video and our new episode. But please enjoy this hour-long fun Producer's Corner episode that we had created for Patreon. It's a good way for listeners to get a sense of what is available for paid subscribers on Patreon. Producer's Corner content, extra behind the scenes episodes, etc. So happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July. And we will see you next week, both audio. Well, so you will hear us next week, and then you will also see us if you watch on YouTube.
In all our glory.
I'm going to need some serious filters.
You're going to get a sense of exactly how much coffee I actually drink and my weird facial expressions and tics.
Oh my God, I know. I'm like, wow, I don't know. I know. Okay. Anyway, I have, this is a big exposure for me because I have a total phobia of being in front of a camera, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see you while we talk. I think it'll be totally different to be able to like look at each other and respond that rather than just hear each other.
And Poochie wants everybody to see him and admire his handsome good looks. So there's that also.
Ooh, and maybe Ginger will make an appearance too.
With her fun, sassy hairstyle.
Okay, well,
we'll see you next week, gang.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Hey, everybody. It's the Producer's Corner. Starring Tim.
Let's try that.
It's funny because the rhythm of three people is so different from two, you know?
Totally. If there's a pause, we jump right in. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Can I ask you guys if you know about Terramation?
No. Yes, I don't know about it.
Okay. It's an option for burial where it's essentially human composting.
Whoa, that
Please
is
explain.
A really good idea.
I know, it's so awesome. So, were you guys fans of 6 Feet Under?
Yes.
I fucking love that show. Remember when Nate died? Sorry for anybody that's never seen 6 Feet Under and wants to watch it. It's not going to ruin it. Nate dies at some, later on. But they did like an earth burial for him where he was like put in a shroud and just like put into the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's a thing. But like the human composting is you are return. I mean the same thing would happen with Nate. Like he's just put directly into the earth and is, in a biodegradable shroud, and then the earth kind of he's returned to the earth basically.
So are you saying they just chuck you in a pile of compost that you already have going on in the backyard?
Okay, now I would love that. I would love that. And I was of course the first thing I do is I text Caden Cross because she got me into composting and permaculture, and I was like, "Do you know about Terramation? I'm sorry to come at you like that. Good morning."
I've heard
Um,
of a tree terramation, like where they grow a tree from you. Is that the same thing, or is that
I mean,
different?
I'm not sure exactly. Like the serve. I think with the natural, like the earth kind of burial thing, like that Nate Fisher has in 6 Feet Under, it's like a full on ceremony, and you're placed in a spot where people can return to, right? So that's gonna cost more, I think, than like the terramation, which you're taken to a facility and put into like composted, probably not in like the being chucked, although I would love that. I was like, Caden, I just want to be taken to your compost heap and just like stuck in there.
Mhm.
And then I had this fantasy, which is ridiculous, but I'm like, with my luck, coyotes would come and like pull me out and then be like seen running around the neighborhood with like my dismembered like limbs,
Yeah, your
which would
femur.
honestly be fucking hilarious. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I'm
And
looking now online and I see one. Like, yeah, I mean, the service area. It said Oakland, so Arizona, California, Alameda County. We can do it in Alameda County.
Hmm.
yeah, you can do it. Like, yeah, there's several states where you can do it. And the cost, I'm not clear on it because I see anything. It's like it ranges from 2,500 to 5,000. I don't. That's like I wonder what it's probably depending on the state.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
I'm
just trying to.
thinking of the thing where they bury you and then a tree grows,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like if it's a fruit tree or something, I'm thinking, would that be gross? Be like, these Tim oranges are tasting good.
Well, I think that the process of making fruit. This is what someone told me, that trees actually will sanitize, like,
Yeah,
and the fruit doesn't have any of the funky stuff from the ground. Like if
all
the
the cat poop in our backyard.
exactly, cat poop
Right.
plums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
This is really cool. I'm so happy I heard of this because that's what I'm gonna do then.
Same. I was like fucking looking at it before I went to sleep last night. I didn't have nightmares about it because I don't think it's I'm not disturbed by it. It actually is far less disturbing to me than fucking when they pump you full of formaldehyde and
Oh,
try to make you look like you're alive even though you're dead,
Totally.
and then stick you in a casket, and it costs a
Yeah.
fortune, and you go through all this. I'm like, there's something more comforting about being in the earth, and being useful to
yeah.
the the bugs and worms, and especially because I have a compost pile, and I'm tending to it and trying to make it good for the microorganisms in there trying to
Mhm.
do their job. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll just, could you imagine I'm like gardening and I'm like really fucking old and I'm like, let me just try to make it to the compost heap. I must make it to the compost heap. Oh. And then I like collapse on the compost heap, and yeah.
Although all that plastic that's in us, is that going to be good for the earth?
Well, I'm hoping that the creatures will chuck it aside. Especially my silicone implants will be like what's left of me.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Just sitting atop the pile.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, you know what that just made me think of? I heard that some people, I think in Japan, have invented a plastic that melts like
There we
with
go.
water. It's like made out of organic stuff, and hopefully we won't have to deal with plastic anymore. But or at least plastic bags. But anyway, this is great. So I'm looking
Mhm.
at this website called Return Home, and it
Yes,
says
there's that one. Yeah.
it's $5,450. That's cheap, and there are payment plans available.
Can you
Nice.
imagine me like setting up a payment plan for my demise? I'm like, here you go, folks. Here's another $300 going towards my inevitable return home.
My homecoming. Yeah. Ugh.
Anyway, I had to share that with you guys.
Yeah, totally.
Thanks for
Okay, so I
the
have a little thing.
yeah.
Before we get into the producer's corner stuff, the tough questions, as I do. and we're going to be talking about the prepper episode today.
Okay.
But first, I just want to say, so I'm a big fan of the show, podcast, and big fan of both of you. Just think you're both amazing. I listen to a lot of
Thank you.
episodes. But I do also come with some tough criticisms sometime. Not only tough questions,
Oh,
but I do
shit.
have tough criticisms. So can I say
Yes.
one? Okay.
Yeah.
So in the second season, neither of you have mentioned Jesse Plemons once. There's been more Michael Baker references than Jesse Plemons. What's going on here?
I don't know. He fell off our radar, didn't he?
I want you to know that though I don't say his name out loud, he is in my heart
Oh, good.
and
He's
Poochie's
always with
heart.
us.
Great. It's funny. I knew I was going to come with this joke. And I thought of it last night. And I had a nightmare last night where I asked the question, or I said the statement, and Dana, you said, I saw his latest movie and he just wasn't good. And I'm just not a fan anymore. And I woke up in a
Impossible.
cold sweat.
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Jesse Plemons can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he coming out in anything new?
I don't know. Let me
I
look.
mean, he's sure to be in another Yorgos Lanthimos movie. I mean, he always
Mhm.
is. So
Kinds of Goodness. 0 Day.
Okay.
0 Day must be it, yeah? Or is that already
2020. Says since 2025. Don't ask me what that means. Since 2025. I guess he's going to be in 0 Day.
okay?
Good. But I was thinking, because it's funny, this is the third one that I've done of this, and I've already had multiple anxiety dreams about it.
Aww.
So I was wondering if dreams where I'm like, it's time to do it, and I haven't set up my little ragtag studio, which is hilarious if you saw what I'm dealing with here. But I was wondering if either of you have had any anxiety dreams about doing the podcast.
Not anxiety dreams. I have had in the past. I mean, this is when earlier on, when things were like heavily like the written outlines and stuff, I would have some nervousness about doing it, like doing the actual like recordings. But no anxiety dreams.
I haven't had any anxiety dreams, but the same. When we first started out, I had anxiety before we would record, and I would have like right before we would record, and then it's today. And for the producer's corner, I don't have any anxiety because I don't feel any pressure to think really hard. But during the episodes, the day we record, I do have a little bit of anxiety, just more about like, am I going to be able to articulate well what I want to say? Am I going to be able to think on the fly? Because I'm still not super flexible because it's like still kind of new. But I think as we go, it gets easier. I get more flexible and I trust that my mind will work and that I can find words and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So are you saying that the tough questions need to be tougher if you're not getting nervous?
Pretty much. No.
Okay.
Quit throwing us softballs, Tim.
So the prepper episode, or the prepisode, if you will, nice portmanteau.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love portmanteaus, by the way.
So do I.
Like shart or verp.
Oh yeah, hangry.
What about hangry? Oh, it's a good one. But I was gonna give a little shout out to editor Mitch because he came up with one of my favorite ones ever. So it's, what do you call reading material that you keep in the bathroom to read while you're using the toilet?
What?
Shitterature.
That's good.
Funny.
I love that. Okay, so the episode, one of my favorite moments was in the beginning when Shannon says, by the end, you're going to be a couple of Rambas. I thought that was cute.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about how when I was a kid and Rambo came out and all the rage were the Rambo knives.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember getting that as a present, like a Christmas present one year.
Oh my God, really?
And it's just like an example of 80s parenting, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like, what could go wrong? This giant knife, and all the kids had them. I don't know if did either of you. Is that a boy
No.
thing?
No. I was not super into Rambo as a kid, but I guess as a guy, that was the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah, Star Wars was the big thing, and Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, like all the little figurines, toys, and stuff. That was primarily what I would see, like the kids, like the boys and stuff that I went to school with, that were preoccupied with.
Yeah. But it made me think also that I wish I had better photoshopping skills. And
Yeah.
maybe when we have a budget one day, because I was thinking of like a photo op of both of you with like fake beards and like a headband and like
Oh yeah.
flexing. And I know you guys are both buff, you know, with your Rambo knife and your like machine gun. Be so sweet.
I
Thought that would
want
be
one
funny.
with Dana and her army of
Yeah.
raptors.
Yeah. No,
Or
that was the other thing, the falconry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I love just picturing, I was thinking of like Dana in like, you know, in the future in the post-apocalyptic world with like outfit made out of like hide and just this army of like birds, you know, swirling around. So
and
cool.
then like a bunch of zombies on the horizon.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't ask for this. Like, I'm complaining as I'm riding my fucking horse, and I'm like just complaining out loud. I'm like, I'm not supposed to be here. How come I didn't get vaporized with the rest of you?
Yeah. So before we get into a million tough questions about zombies, I just wanted to also, you started talking about Nirvana and how you're twins, you know, and how you thought about the first time you heard Nirvana. So I went back and just last night watched the video for Smells Like Teen Spirit, and it's so good.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I mean, that when that video dropped and that song
Yeah.
dropped, it was just like major, right? It was so big.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it propelled them to just like the most insane stardom overnight, you know?
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, so cool. Like his green kind of striped shirt with the like
Mhm.
baggy white, you know, long sleeve under it, and his hair just like flopping around, and just in the gym. It was so cool.
Yeah.
God,
Like
I
blew
remember
my
that
mind.
time. Yeah, that was such a wild time. Like I was living in downtown Sacramento, and I remember my friend went to go see them just at a small venue in Sacramento and was telling me about it. And uh, remember that feeling you would get when you would be watching MTV and a song would drop and you would just be like blown away.
Yeah.
Remember that? I
Mhm.
Like
hardly have that
Billie
anymore.
Jean, Michael Jackson did that for me.
Really?
Billie Jean. Oh, I saw that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's so great. How
Mhm.
about you? Is there one that stands out for you, Dana? Like a video that just like blew your tiny mind when you were watching?
Okay, one that really pops up. This is funny. Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart,
Oh yeah.
where
Yeah.
she's like in like a boys' private school,
Yeah.
and she's like just running through the halls, and like the curtains are flowing, and then at the end she's like it looks like she's actually a teacher or a dean of students at the school, and she's like going down the line, and she sees all like the boys in their uniforms like lined up. That one. That was like
Mhm.
really, I don't know why, but it really stuck with me.
Mhm.
I mean, for sure, Beat It. I remember when Beat It premiered on MTV, and I was like,
Mhm.
what? This is crazy. And Michael Jackson really just seemed kind of otherworldly, you know?
Yes.
But the Bonnie Tyler video, I think, was more of like a kind of formative experience,
Mhm.
because she's this older woman, and she seems like these private school boarding school boys are kind of mysterious, and they're stirring something in her. She can't explain it, and it's kind of scary, but also there's like an erotic component to it, even though there's nothing overtly sexual in it.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that thing
moody and
haunted me, that
dreamy.
video, I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it seems like it's supposed to scare you a little bit, but it's also
Yeah.
sort of arousing because there's like this mystery romance kind of gothic feel to it, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
It's very
Yep.
for me, it was like very dreamlike,
Oh
like
yeah.
shadowy. And also that song is just rad. That's such a
Yeah.
good song.
Mm-hmm.
And she belts it
Yep.
out.
I know, man. That song hits every single time.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a good one. And then also just a quick thing I thought was kind of cute. So in the beginning you mentioned, listening to Tribe Called Quest, and then all throughout the episode you talk about bugging out, and that was like
Yeah,
one of their classic songs.
which is
Not
funny, huh?
intentional. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so then into the survival kind of portion. Do either of you ever camp, or do you like camping? Any thoughts?
I am not interested at all in camping. I it's a funny thing because like I appreciate nature a lot. I have no interest in sleeping in a tent for fun. That sounds
Yeah.
really uncomfortable. Um, I do it if I had to. I remember I camped the first time I ever did a half marathon. My friend and I, we went and we did the one in the Redwoods. It was the half marathon that happens in the Redwoods. And in Humboldt County, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we camped overnight, in a tent, and that was fine. But I was like, oh, we're doing this because we kind of have to.
Yeah.
So like I'll do it, but I'd much rather stay in a 5-star hotel. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. But no interest in camping at all.
Yeah. Oh God, I hate camping. I mean, I only will camp if it's kind of like glampy. The first camping experience I ever had,
Portmanteau.
Glamping, yep.
glamping. Yeah.
Glamping.
Oh God, my first camping experience is so awful. So my dad was like, "Let's go camping" with his like cop buddies, and I was probably in 6th grade, and so my friend Cindy and I went with my dad. We got there. It's called Stumpy Meadows, and it's in. The name alone is just like, don't go there. So we went to El Dorado. It's in El Dorado National Forest, so near Sacramento. But so we show up, and all some of his cop buddies are there, and they're like drinking beers or whatever. And Cindy and I are like roaming around. There's no bathrooms, no showers, and it, it was just. I remember being struck with terror when I found out I had to go to the bathroom in the woods. And so we ended up having to go home. We only stayed one night because I would not poop in the woods. And then Tim and I
That's
got
part of it.
engaged while
Yeah.
camping. We would
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, we can't. But this was a nice experience. We had a tent mansion. It's like a huge tent with like a porch and all these things, like a little room. It was enormous, and it was great. It was a nice campground that was near San Luis Obispo and had bathrooms, and the deer were so friendly with humans that a deer actually came right up to us, and I almost touched it.
I thought you
Uh,
did. I thought it like you touched
yeah,
its
it
nose
touched
or
its
something.
nose. Oh, that's right. It like touched my hand, and that was sweet camping experience. It was just one night,
Mm.
and but otherwise, I really don't love it.
There was the one time that we went camping in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and we got there and did a big long hike, and then it was time to set up the tent, and I realized that I didn't bring the poles. So then we had to go to a little store and buy a tent, and it was tiny, and we set it up,
It was tiny. It was
and
like a one person.
yeah, it was like, the smallest tent ever. And then we made dinner and like got a fire going, and did the things you do around the fire, kind of telling stories and stuff. And then it was like, all right, you ready to go to bed? Sure. And then we like looked at the tent and we were like, or we could just drive home right now. We're like, let's go home. And then we just drove home. Just curious if either of you, if the end of the world hits and you have to be in nature living, what would be kind of the worst thing about it, as far as being cold or hot, or maybe just the food situation, not being able to eat, or hygiene, or having to deal with animals trying to eat you and stuff like that?
It all sounds terrible. Um, but I guess if I had to rank it in order of what would be the worst for me, would be number one, lack of food and hydration, right? Lack of food and water, if that was the thing, if I didn't have any provisions, that would be number one. Then the fear of like predators. And then the third would be the fucking bugs.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Oh God.
Hygiene's whatever. Like if I'm out there by myself, I don't care if I'm gross. It might be physically uncomfortable at a certain point if I've gone days upon days upon days and my hair's like tangled and I look like a wild woman. But yeah, lack of food and water, 1, 2, fear of animals trying to kill me, 3, like bugs.
Yeah, bugs. Ooh.
Mm,
Yeah.
Like, how do you sleep when
I
there's just
know.
a million bugs all around you, eating you, crawling on you?
Yeah, no.
Like,
Gross.
what the fuck?
Spiders. For me, honestly, I have to be honest. I think that the hygiene would drive me the craziest. I don't. I mean, I don't like the idea of because hygiene. I have sensitive skin, and so I know that I would have some kind of weird allergic thing happening probably, and then I would
Yeah.
get itchy skin, and I couldn't do
Mhm.
anything about it, and that would drive me nuts.
Plus, you'd be like, on day one, you'd be like, I have a piece of meat stuck in my teeth and I need to get some
I
floss.
need to floss. Yeah, I'm
Give me that
weird about
cyanide
floss.
pill.
I get fucking weird about floss. I hear you.
And
I-
teeth, dirty teeth. Dirty teeth
Yeah.
is the worst.
Yeah. I guess what I'm thinking is that I will be so completely just freaking out that those things would fall to the bottom of my list because I would be concerned with just immediate survival. But eventually it's all going to bug me. And then I'm just going to lay down and, let myself be composted while I'm still alive.
Let the bugs consume you.
Yeah. I'm like, guys, go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
I would just like pray to be bitten by a snake. If I didn't have my cyanide pill on me, I would just pray to it would be go quick.
Nature's cyanide pill.
Well, no, this is what would happen with your luck. You'd be chasing the rattlesnakes and they'd be slithering away from you because they think you're crazy. They're like, what's going on? Why does she want us to fucking bite her? What is this thing? She's scary.
Amazing. So the rule of 3 thing I thought was kind of fun. But the one that was interesting to me is the 3 months of no social contact.
Oh yeah.
Because I was like, Shannon does that all the time. So she'd be good.
No, I have my
Just kidding.
asynchronous messages with Dana.
Yeah.
And that's social. No, but yes, I mean, I know I'm all 3 months with no social contact. That would make someone crazy, not me. But I love that rule of 3 things. 3 seconds of what? Panic. 3 minutes of
Air.
no air. 3 days of I forget.
No water, right?
Water.
Yeah.
3 weeks food, 3 months social contact.
Yeah.
And then 3 years of no sort of doctory medical. Yeah. Then there was a point where you kind of mentioned skills and trades. And I was just curious if either of you have any, what are your like skills as far as like fixing electric stuff, plumbing, carpentry, working on cars, stuff like that.
Anything that would be useful during
I know neither of you can shovel because you mentioned that, which
And-
I can shovel.
At
So-
first, I couldn't. Now I
Yeah.
have to turn my compost pile once a week. So
Okay.
I've gotten better. But also, man, that's a lot of work. Imagine like trying to bury like a body if you're a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa.
it is.
What's
What?
up?
I'm so sorry. I don't know why my computer just decided to define it for me. Did you hear that?
No.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was talking to you guys and then I said the thing about
serial killer. And then suddenly, like, Siri jumped up on my computer and started telling me what a serial killer was
Whoa.
in my headphones.
Oh, that's so wild.
Yeah. I'm also offended because I would think that she would know by now that I'm well versed in all these things. But yeah, the digging, it takes a lot out of you, and it's time
Oh, yeah.
consuming.
Totally.
I don't
Anything?
think I have
Can either of you?
skills.
Nothing. You could tinker with a car a little bit.
No.
No, you pretend like you can.
Well, I know about cars because I worked at. Hey, we both worked at Marty's Motors.
That's
Oh,
right.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Marty's Motors. I still my kids, even every Christmas they do their impression that I was doing of Marty around the holidays, because he had like that coffee maker just with
Yes.
regular old fucking Folgers in it, and this tin that just had like, that was like half full of like chocolate stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then like clients would come in, and before they'd leave, he'd go, "Would you like some Christmas coffee or some Christmas chocolates?" And I'm like, there's nothing specifically Christmas about the coffee. Like, you would think that it's like hazelnut or peppermint. No, it was just the fucking Folgers and then the tin of chocolates. I don't know how long it had been sitting there, but he made it sound like he had specially brought in like Christmas themed coffee and chocolate. It was really funny.
That is so great.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Marty's Motors. Oh, was Mike there as the mechanic
Yes.
when you were there? I love Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he used to do Peter's cars or something, like, or I thought he knew Peter Ford.
Oh, maybe. Oh, really? Oh,
I thought he
interesting.
did. Did he know? Maybe not.
Maybe I don't know. I can't remember if I worked there when I was dating Peter. I can't remember. I must have been. I must have. But wow, yeah. So you started working there when I left, right? Just for a little while.
I was only there for a week, and then I did
Good
some
move.
PA work for this Bay cable advertising company. So I was doing that in Hayward instead. Yeah, but for
Good choice.
skills, I was a lifeguard in college, so I could
Yeah.
I could do some definitely some first aid
Mhm.
stuff and CPR. But beyond that, I'm a decent shot with a gun,
Mhm.
so I could shoot things
I'm not
if
a decent shot.
necessary.
I have cross-eye dominance. So I have I'm left eye dominant and right-handed. And so I've had to learn to shoot in a different way. I can't shoot the same way other people shoot. And so it's hard. So I would suck at that. Anyway, but I could give people therapy. Well, no, I could calm people down.
Yes,
Yep.
that's
But
actually
also-
really useful, because a
Yeah.
lot of people would be freaking out.
But also, you're just like pointing the shotgun at the zombie's head. I don't
That's
think you would need to worry about what eye to use.
Yeah, shotgun would be easier.
A shotgun would be, especially with buckshot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, one of the things you mentioned was you should just get gas when you're running on empty. And it was funny because just yesterday, both Shannon and I were like driving together, and both cars had no gas, and we were both too lazy to get gas, driving by 1,000 gas stations.
Yeah.
That is hard.
When you're tired, yeah.
Just whatever. It just sounds so annoying to get gas. It's like you just have to wait till the last second.
God, I know. But my mom always reminds me. She's like, keep your gas tank full. My parents are kind of preppers. They have like a pantry full of stuff and a lot of other things. If I
And
said
back
that
up into your driveway so that your nose is facing out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
I don't.
During when the wildfires start, like when the Santa Ana winds are going, I do.
Okay.
So yeah, so because the chaos of trying to back out and everybody's trying to back out is a lot.
Oh God.
That's interesting. Okay, let's talk about zombies a little bit.
Yeah.
So one thing that I thought of, which was kind of interesting, so in the movies, whenever somebody gets bitten by a zombie and they know they're gonna turn, why are they always like, kill me? Like they kill themselves or they want to be dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do they know it's so like? Would it be so horrible to be a zombie? Right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
We don't. I mean, well, that's the question. So if I got bitten by a zombie, do I basically die and then they take over my body? Is
Good
that
point.
like what well, so yeah, because remember like Night of the Living Dead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're just sort of like this animated body, but you yourself are dead.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's a very interesting question, though. Like, what's the phenomenology of being a zombie? Like,
Yeah.
do you have any sort shred of confidence, or I mean, confidence? They look confident.
Yeah, nothing but
Uh,
confidence, man. They just keep going.
Do you have any like shred of consciousness, or are you just like a reptilian, like, give me the brains
Yeah,
kind of?
probably that.
Really? Yeah, that's interesting. Has anybody written about that? Like what they think the experience of a zombie might be? That would be interesting. I'll look
Mhm.
it up later.
Yeah, and then because I was just thinking about like in vampire movies, you get bit by a vampire and you're like, sweet,
Yeah,
You're not
eternal
like, kill
life.
me now. You're like, dude, let's go party with these. Everyone's young and
Decently hot,
yeah, totally.
if you're like in True Blood or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. Wait, yeah. So like yeah, like why don't more people want to be vampires? That's a good question.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I
I
kind of
did.
would. Yeah.
It might be really psychologically challenging to not be able to die. That would be one thing that you'd have to really
Yeah.
contend with.
Yeah.
That's
It
why
would be-
Dracula was so jaded. He'd been
Yeah.
alive for like centuries. He's like, ugh.
Mhm.
I'm so
But you
over
can
this."
die. I guess just go in the sun. Yeah, he's all, oh God.
Yeah.
Funny. And then I was just thinking about how you were saying that your boys brought their soccer. They wanted to bring the soccer ball.
Yeah. They packed the
As
soccer
they're
ball
like,
in
yeah.
the trunk.
But I was thinking like if plenty of zombie heads, if it's a zombie apocalypse to kick around, you know what I mean?
Actually, yeah.
Like in Hostel.
Like in Hostel, yeah.
Yeah, at the end. Yeah.
And then of course I was thinking about Shannon saying I wouldn't survive in the zombie apocalypse. And I was just thinking how it's probably true because Shannon just chills at the house and sends me off on these missions, like in the regular, like in our regular life, she's like, go to the store in the middle of the night through the hood. And so I would be the guy that she would send off on the missions to the stores.
Of course,
to get,
your odds of getting intercepted by zombies increases
Yeah.
exponentially because
Yeah.
you're out there more.
Yep.
Aw, Tim, I would step in. I would go to the store.
Okay.
But apparently, you'd be really relaxed about it, Tim. You'd be like, "Oh, what?
Yeah, totally.
You a zombie? Oh man,
Sounds fun.
Is this how it's gonna end? Really? Let me put my stuff down. Hang on. Can I call Shannon first and let her know I don't want her to be mad that I'm gonna call and you can bite me. Okay.
There was also talk about there was those guys that said if you don't know how to use a protractor, you're not going to survive.
Oh yeah, the mapping thing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not fair.
I know. I know.
No, but the thing that I was thinking is like you take the protractor and you stab it in the side of a zombie's head, right?
Right.
Oh.
That buys you
So-
some time.
Yeah, you know how to use it.
You're actually right.
Yeah. So you're good. Okay, let's see what else do we have here. I thought about because you were talking about birds and falconry, so I thought we could play a little game
Okay.
because there's lots of funny bird names, and I also made up some. So I can say a bird name, and you can tell me if it's a real bird or something that I made up.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Okay.
You do
Okay.
it, Dana.
I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I already
stupid 'cause you
tried
have
it.
No
He
idea.
did it. He did it with me, and I was terrible. I got them all wrong.
Okay. A fluffy backed tit babbler.
That can't be real.
That's a real bird.
That is?
Yeah.
What kind of bird is it?
I don't know.
Wait, what was it called?
Fluffy backed tit babbler.
Oh yeah, it is. It's real.
Okay.
It's not
here's
a bird
another
of
one.
prey, though, right?
No, I think these
it's
are just like
cute,
cute little birds.
though.
Okay.
Okay. A black cock.
Well, yeah, that's got to be real.
No, I made that one up.
But roosters. Roosters.
I know.
I've seen black roosters.
Are they called black
Okay,
cocks?
I mean, you
get
can
it.
call them that.
Yeah, it's true.
I just did an internet search for black cock, and everything that came up was porn.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
yeah.
course.
Totally. Okay, how about a horny bush tit?
At this point, I'm going to have to say it's real, right?
No, I made that one.
Okay.
Okay, anyways.
Well,
I could just
when you started with the fucking tit babbler, like you can pretty much say anything after that.
I mean, that's the thing. There's all kinds of tits and cock ones.
Yeah.
There's like, these are real ones. There's bush tit. There's a woodcock. There's a blue-footed booby.
What is going? Did the people who like actually named all of these, were they all like 9 years old?
I don't know. So good. Let's see, a tinkling cisticola. These are real ones. A flap doodle.
That sounds like a word we'd make up to like talk to our animals. Come here,
Yeah.
flap doodle. Like Poochie when his ears flap.
So funny. Yeah, so that was fun. Okay. There's so many more, but we can, I guess, wrap up a little bit. The last 10 minutes of the prep episode were so good. I mean, it's just like,
What did we talk about in the last 10 minutes?
it's just so good. So here were the moments that I love, but it was basically just like when the end of the world comes, both of you are like, you know what, fuck it, like who cares, like I
Right.
don't even want to. So Shannon was like, she didn't want to like live in a bunker having to smell other people's farts,
Right.
and she would rather just take her chance on the outside with all the radiation.
Right.
And then you say that you would just be out in the world giving everybody the rock and roll sign before you become a pile of dust.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a line talking about Noah, and you were like, Noah was like, peace out. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, he was the OG prepper, man. And
Yeah.
everybody was looking at him like he was crazy, just like everybody looking at Pierce Brosnan and Dante's Peak when he's like, the volcano's gonna blow. We got to get out of here. No one believed him. Wasn't that
Ah.
Dante's Peak?
Oh, I haven't seen that, but
Oh,
yes,
dude, you guys, it's the worst. It's the worst movie. I was laughing my ass off, especially because they stick around because the grandma doesn't want to leave her house that she's lived in forever. So they're fucking staying behind, trying to get her to leave.
God.
And then when it's too late, she finally decides to. But like they wasted their time. I'm sorry. I like would
Did
be
she
like,
melt?
oh, it's the best. The way she
Oh.
goes is hysterical. So they're like in a boat, right? In a little like metal boat that's like they're trying to get across the lake, and it's melting because of all like the lava is like getting into the lake. And the
Ooh.
grandma, because she feels so bad because she was like refusing to leave and then causing them to lose time, like the dad, mom, and kids, and then their little dog Rusty or whatever the fuck his name is. So she jumps out of the boat to pull it because like the engine on the end of the boat has like the propellers have melted off. She jumps out, it's like waist deep in water, and she's pulling the boat to the edge as like her bottom half is just melting, and she's all like pulling it. I was dying laughing. It's one of the funniest movies you'll ever watch. It's so melodramatic, it's hysterical, but like I hated the grandma. I'm like, fuck you, you old bat. Like, because of you, this happened. And then she's dying. I'm like, ha, serves you right. So, yeah. But no one believed him. Yeah, you've got to watch it. But he's just like warning everybody. Nobody's listening. And it's like Noah. Noah's like, you guys, like legit, this is going to happen. They're like, oh, look at Noah. He's so crazy with his big old ark. Yeah.
That's how people treat preppers now.
Yep.
You know, that's my most, I have recurring nightmares of trying to tell people that danger is coming and they're not listening to me. It's like the most terrifying thing. I can't wait to watch this movie.
Yeah. That reminds me of one of the things that I thought about as far as prepping, because I'm not a prepper. I'm not a planner. I like to wing things. I just thought of, and I'm sure the preppers probably have a plan for this, but I just imagine these people that spend their whole lives prepping and then the shit hits the fan, and then just like a gang of people that didn't do anything, just jack them for their bunker and all their shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they have to plan. That's probably the day one planning. Like, what do we do when they try to jack us for our bunker and all of our stuff, right?
Yes.
Because that's what's happening.
Because that's part of it is self-protection, because it'll get crazy after like 72 hours.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Like a lot of people will, yeah. Then you realize you don't really know people, like
Totally.
folks on my street are pretty nice, but I don't know if shit hits the fan, like what they're going to be like.
Yeah.
And then you think about like that National Geographic thing you sent me, Shannon. Like what was so crazy is these folks spend 40 hours a week working on prepping. Their whole life has become about the possibility of disaster. Like that's how they live. But it's like what drives them. But I was like, that's depressing, but at the same time, like they seem to enjoy it. Like they're having fun making it a way of life.
It's creative. They really, it's interesting. I think that too is like a way to manage anxiety and a way to control. But they're also protecting their family. They're doing it, and he says at one point, he's like, like the kids make fun of him, kind of. But he's like, when it's a fan, they won't be laughing. They'll have, so I could tell they were connected to their own sort of desire to protect and help their family, which I think probably makes it more fulfilling. But that's interesting, the different kinds of ways people take up prepping. Like some people make it their entire life. Then you maybe have I think people who like me who don't like to be surprised by things, it's probably more gratifying. Like I don't like being caught unprepared. And so that's somewhat motivating. But like Tim, you don't think about this stuff, right? You're just like, what if it happens? Well, I'll figure it out then.
I'm not a planner at all with anything, I like to wing things. So,
but you don't have a panic response really, so it's fine because you'd be able to, I don't know, rationally get through things, or with like, without an elevated heart rate. Like
you saw me when the alien invasion was happening, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty chill.
Well, you and Hannibal Lecter have that in common, because remember his heart rate didn't get above whatever as he was like chewing the nurse's tongue out of her mouth or something. He's like steady. He's like fucking steady.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then just at the end, I thought it was funny. I loved it. You both sort of were like quoting some movies, and Shannon was quoting Poltergeist, and Dana was quoting Friday the 13th, and it was so funny.
You're doomed. Doomed. Yeah.
What about you, Shannon? You want to sing your little song? The Poltergeist one?
That was a terrifying. Okay, that guy Preacher Kane. Yeah. So Julian Beck, who played him, was this amazing actor. Like he started this like New York actors group back in the day. He's like an amazing stage actor. And he only took that role because he had to pay for his cancer treatments. He had cancer at the time.
Oh shit.
And he was so fucking good. Like he so outdid that movie with his star power because he's so terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm like, God is in his holy temple. That song. I much prefer my Tangina Barron impersonation. It's much more accurate.
So good.
What's that one?
Tangina Barron's. She's the one that says, she's like, cross over, children. All are welcome.
Yeah.
All welcome. He's all, you said don't go into the light. The poor dad. He was so confused.
Yeah.
The movie Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Me
The
too.
clown scene and the tree scene
Oh God, yeah.
were just
The swimming pool.
brutal.
I like how the little kid when the clown pulls him under the bed, and then later on you see him pulling the stuffing out of the clown, and he's all, I hate you,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hate you. And I thought that was so funny. He's like telling the clown he hates him.
Yeah. I
I
love
hate you. I hate you.
Yeah.
So good.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
Carol Ann.
Oh, you know what I love is how that actor, remember how he had buck ass teeth, the
Yeah.
little boy?
The little
Yes.
boy,
And then you see his silhouette, like the shadow of his silhouette, and you can see his like buckers like out there.
Yeah.
And then in
Totally.
Poltergeist 2, he has braces. And I remember being so happy. It's the Virgo in me. I'm like, oh, good. They took care of his teeth.
No, I think he got braces in the first one
No,
because they wrapped around
No.
his face, right? Oh no, that's the second
that's
one.
in
the
this.
second
That's in
one,
the second
yeah.
one.
Oh,
Oh man. So good.
oh, that's funny. You were relieved. You're all, oh yes, okay. All
Like,
is
oh, good.
right
His
in the world.
orthodonture's handled. Oh my God. Okay, good.
Fantastic.
Oh God, I want to watch that again.
Yeah, we got to watch that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wanted that to happen to me in my life. When I was watching it, I was like, I want a haunting. That was back in the day when I thought it would be cool to have a ghost in my house. Now I'd just be horrified.
Dude, okay, I'm fucking gonna be 53 this year, and I was watching the Enfield that 2015 series, and I was watching it, and I was starting to fall asleep, and then my eyes shot open, and I was like, I am in no mood, and I turned on my lamp and I slept with it on. I'm like, I can't deal with the haunting. I've got too much going on. Like too much to think about. I can't deal with a fucking poltergeist now. So
Oh,
like I definitely don't want a haunting. I'm like, please no.
I know. I'm telling you, the times that I have experienced something just auditory or otherwise, that sometimes your eyes can play tricks on you, like you
Yeah.
look, yeah, and I had that happen the other day when I was letting Ginger out. I looked and I thought I saw like a figure in the corner, and it's just so terrifying. I just froze. But yeah, there was a time where I was all into like the occult. When I was a kid, we would play with Ouija boards. I would never do that now.
No.
And
It's
I
a way
actually
in, dude. It's how the fucking demons get you.
It is. I'm
Yeah.
like, honestly, I feel like I have to go talk to some spiritualist or something, because I feel like maybe there's been a being following me my whole life, because we used to do that, and we used to play these psychic games, and we played light as a feather, stiff as a board. You know that one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Little creeps.
7 seconds in heaven. Oh, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Ginger will let you know though.
Really?
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. So here's like really quick. When I was my first year out of college, I shared there was this duplex, and I lived on the ground level with some girls I went to college with. There was like 4 of us, and we all lived together. And one of the girls had a cat named Kylie, this really sweet cat. And we were living there. We'd have friends come visit. I had this friend Laura, and then she came and she stayed the night, and she was the only one left in the house because the rest of us had gone to work, and she had some time before she had to catch her shuttle to go back home. And so she was reading, and so it was years later, she tells us, she goes, I waited to tell you guys this because you were living in that house and I didn't want to freak you out, but this fucking weird thing happened to me there when you guys were all gone.
Whoa.
And apparently, and this is Laura, who's like super rational and like skeptical of everything. This thing scared the shit out of her. So she was sitting in an easy chair, and Kylie was on her lap, and she was just reading because she had time to kill. And out of the corner of her eye, something moved, a shape moved across, like in like the distance across the room. It just like moved across enough so she looked up, and she said that she would have just decided that she was seeing things, except Kylie looked up too.
Oh
Whoa.
my God.
And she said that her hair stood up. She like sets Kylie down. She grabs her bag and she walks outside and she leaves. And she's like, I just went and sat somewhere else for the time that I had left. She goes, I don't know what that was, but it fucking scared me. But the thing is that Kylie looked too. So if something's around, like Ginger will let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
god.
do you remember when we first moved into our place? Ginger would. This is probably not a ghost, but she
Oh
would go in the
yeah.
backyard and just bark at this one spot in the ground for hours.
A crack.
Just sit there and "Arr!"
Yeah.
Just it was wild. Then she just stopped, but it would happen for a year or so, I think.
Yes, and she would fixate, and there was no. It wasn't like a snake hole or anything. It was like concrete over dirt, and we were.
Um,
Yeah, dead body.
I thought it
Anyone?
was dead bodies.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Or
surprised.
like a weird bug crawled out of there one day and she just like never forgot about it,
Yeah,
That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
yeah. Let's hope.
I think it might be time to do a haunted episode or something, yeah?
For sure. Did we get a
Oh.
request on X?
Yes, and he sent me the greatest email. Oh my gosh. So this is from one of our listeners who is just incredibly detailed in this message. I'll just say a little bit about it. So his name's Cody Prince, and he grew up in like in Alabama. So like he sent me a couple of different links to haunted places, and he sent some pictures and some stories that he heard, from in the town. And we could read these sometime on a different episode.
Yeah, when we
But
come back
it's-
from our
from
break. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's just cool to hear from people who have, well, first of all, think about like the South and the haunted
Oh,
South.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool. And but the stories that you hear through the grapevine that have, that people have experienced are so interesting. Like the one you just shared about your house. So anyway, thank you, Cody. And let's do it. Yeah, and we've talked about the what's it called? The
Enfield haunting?
Enfield haunting, and we talked about the one the entity is based on, where the woman gets claimed to have been raped by a ghost. Yeah, so we're gonna do that.
Cool.
Sweet.
All right. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fun.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Hope the questions weren't too tough this time.
No, they were fine.
Okay, good.
No, they weren't too tough.
Yeah.
Good.
They made it very thought provoking.
I just didn't know that there were so many birds out there with ridiculous names. I'd be pissed if I was those birds.
So funny. All right, take care.
All right. See you next time.